Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. Up to bat next on our Evening of Baseball Films is a movie from 1942 we're showing for the very first time on TCM called It Happened in Flatbush. Now, for those who may not know, Flatbush is a section of Brooklyn, New York, and for many years Flatbush was where the fabled Ebbets Field ballpark was located, the home of those beloved bums, the Brooklyn Dodgers, before they became the LA Dodgers starting in 1958. Well, our story is purely fictional, and it's about a former baseball player played by Lloyd Nolan who's haunted by a botched play in a game which cost his team a very important win. Well, time has gone by, and now he's the team's manager and unable to shake his reputation of being a loser because of that baseball game a long time ago. His players don't like him. They call him Butterfingers, and the team's owners offer him very little support. Now, the character Nolan plays, though fictional, was modeled to a great extent after longtime Dodgers manager Leo DeRocher, who earned his nickname of Leo the Lip because of his very fiery temperament and his habit of getting into an umpire's face to argue a call and often getting ejected from the game. While all this is going on, you're also going to see a cast which includes Carol Landis, Oscar winner Jane Darwell, and 9 years before he began playing Fred Mertz on I Love Lucy, William Frawley. You also see some real Brooklyn Dodgers from that era, including Pee Wee Reese, Archie Vaughn, and Dixie Walker. So here from 1942, from 20th Century Fox, and directed by Ray McCarey, who was the younger brother of director Leo McCarey, the TCM premiere of It Happened in Flatbush.
sheets. 100? Where you get the nerve? I never saw more than 50 in my life. Well, you will today, chump. Get that headline. Hey, put the medicine quick! Hey, paper! Hey, put the medicine quick! Hey, paper! Put the medicine quick! Thanks, and next me a better chance will be no more. Hey, fellas, here she comes. Thanks, Miss Mac. What did Casey quit for, Miss? What happened? Did he resign or did you fire him? Who are you going to get, Mrs. Mac? Oh, come on. This one. I'm getting together.
I have several calls for you, Mrs. McAvoy.
Several thousand.
Get me the best detective agency in town.
Hurry up, Ruth, but don't get Charlie Chan. Well, I looked up Peterson's record, and maybe he wouldn't be such a bad bet. Listen, Mac, in a pinch like this, what's wrong with Fletcher? He'd make us a good manager.
Fletcher?
Yeah.
You kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. Look at his record down in the Texas League. There's not a ball...
Hello, I want to find a man. The name is McGuire. Frank McGuire. Used to be shortstop for Brooklyn. I want him located right away. The last time I saw him, 7 years ago. What was he wearing? Don't you think he might have changed his clothes by now? Use every man you have. I want him found.
Oh, please, Mac. The season's opened. Brooklyn's without a manager. And you're wasting time looking for a washed-up shortstop.
Sam, if I can find McGuire, he's the next manager of this team.
Manager? Are you kidding?
For my money, there isn't a smarter, cagier player in the business.
You mean Butterfingers? The guy whose boner lost this town a pennant? They've never forgotten that, Mac, and they never will forget it as long as the game is played.
Mistakes make baseball, Sam. 7 years is a long time to crucify a man for one bobble.
But from a business angle, this is serious. Now, you're just stirring up an old cheese.
Sam, the older cheese is, the better.
Oh, listen, Mac. For 25 years, have I ever given you any advice I wouldn't give my own mother?
Here, leave my age out of this.
Well, believe me, it's a crazy idea. He's probably running a barber shop by now.
The way he loved the game? If McGuire's within 100 miles of a ball and bat, he's playing baseball.
Have it your way. Have it your way.
Hello, Mac. What's going on? Well, the old lady seems to be in a hurry. What's cooking?
Yeah, a little. There's nothing new, Mitchell. Not a thing.
Look, Sam, there's over 2 million fans in Brooklyn. Got a right to know what's going on.
Now, this is off the record.
Okay. Who's the new manager?
She's trying to find McGuire.
Frank McGuire? Not Butterfingers. Oh, the old lady's losing her grip.
Hey, lady, you're making a mistake. That's the showers.
Why don't you mind your own business?
Hey, Squint, throw me a towel, will you? I'm all finished. Hey, you get out of here.
Hey, Duck, here comes the Dave.
Hey, you can't come in here.
McGuire! Where's Frank McGuire?
Hey, get out of here.
McGuire! I don't know Frank McGuire. Where's McGuire?
Hey, lady, what do you want in here? Oh.
How are you, Frank?
Hello, Mac. How's yourself?
Weak heart, high blood pressure, half crippled. I'm feeling fine.
Hey, get that dame out of here. Quiet down, will you? Come on, Mac. You can't stay in here.
Oh, that'll suit me. I can't learn anything in this place.
We can talk out. Yeah, we can sit over here. What are you doing out here in the sticks? Looking for talent?
Don't you think we need it?
That's Brooklyn's problem, not mine.
Oh, speaking of talent, you never can tell what will pop up in a tank town like this. Even former big league stars.
Well, it's baseball, ain't it?
Sure it is. A flea circus is show business too, isn't it? Do you ever think about Brooklyn, Frank?
I never heard of the place.
Oh, come on. Take that chip off your shoulder.
What do you expect me to do, throw my arms around your neck?
No, but you can't spend the rest of your life pouting over a dirty deal. You act as though it only happened yesterday.
Well, that's the way it seems. 7 years ain't so long sometimes.
You'd better step on it, Frank. The bus leaves in 40 minutes.
I'll be right with you, Squint. Let me give you a tip. If you're looking for ivory in this league, you're wasting your time. Well, so long, Mac. My flea circus has got to catch a bus.
Come back here, you big block-headed Irishman. The least you can do is to listen to what I've got to say. I wasn't just looking for anybody. I was looking for you.
She's in again,
Say, lady, don't you believe in signs?
Silence, half-pint. I said silence. I've traveled 1,000 miles to offer this numbskull the biggest chance he's ever had in his life. Manager of the Brooklyn team, and he brushes me off.
Manager of the Brooklyn team. Hey, how about that? Hey, on the level?
Hey, Mac, what was that you said?
You heard what I said. And Frank, I'm going to stay put till I get my answer.
Well, look, Mac, not in here. We can talk in there.
Oh, that's better. This isn't a brainstorm, Frank. I've wanted to do it for a long time.
It sounds kind of funny coming from you.
Oh, all right, all right. I admit I helped put the skids under you.
Yeah.
But what else could I do? They pressured me. Sam, Danny Mitchell in his column, I had to let you go. And it's kept me awake nights ever since.
Dear old Brooklyn. Born in it, raised in it, and knifed in it.
But you love the place. Come on back. Will you take the job?
What do you think?
I knew you would.
Why do you think I've stayed in baseball all these years? Playing these cow towns, hopping buses instead of the streamliner. I've been hanging around for just one thing. A chance to go back and make those monkeys eat their words. Butterfingers McGuire.
I'll be right behind you, Frank. Anything you want.
How about money?
I'll hop my shirt.
Yeah, you're liable to have to. Your club's in awful shape. Your outfield's weak. You got to hold a second base. You could drive a truck through.
2 trucks.
Say, maybe Boston will trade Stevenson for a couple of pitchers and $25,000 cash.
Don't you worry about that. When do you start?
I'll join the team in Brooklyn at the end of the week when I come back from Philadelphia.
Say, you seem to know more about the club than I do.
I haven't missed a box score in 7 years.
Frank, do you think I'll ever see Brooklyn win another pennant?
Mac, you're a cinch.
It's a deal. See you in New York.
Not New York, Brooklyn. Hey, and not in there, out there. Trying to scare my ball players. Well, Squint, this is it. Here's the bridge. And at the end of it is 77 square miles of Brooklyn.
Yeah, and from here in, it's every man for himself.
No kidding, and me without a passport.
Same old block. Hey, Squint. See over there? That's Slum Bombs. They got the best dime soda in town.
No kidding. Well, I'll be seeing you.
Wait a minute. There's plenty of time for that. Hey, you grab the brown one, will you? Come on, boys. Break it up, break it up, break it up, break it up.
Well, what if you did lose a milk bottle crying over a measly 2 cents?
When do them little 2 centers mount up? We've lost 17 of them this month, and that makes 34 of your measly senses.
Anybody that would stoop low enough to steal milk.
I insinuate.
I'm not insinuating, Collins, but we've been losing them, and I can't think of anybody else who'd take them.
Is that so?
Run in the whole gang of you. Hello, Mom. No. Are you still a beautiful girl, McGuire? Hello, Pop.
It's great to see you back, son.
Oh, Mr. Collins, you remember me, don't you? Oh, the freeze is on.
And you must be the little squirt Frank wrote us about.
Not Squirt, Squint.
I'm glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you. I didn't think you'd be back so soon.
No, we grabbed the taxi.
Put your grip over there.
Are you hungry?
I'm starved.
Get them a bite to eat.
Well, the old joint looks just the same.
Oh, and Frank, I fixed some kosher corned beef just the way you like it.
You're an angel, Mom.
Come on with me. We'll get some lunch, Squirt.
Not Squirt, Miss McGuire, Squint.
Oh, well, whatever it is, come on.
Well, Pop, how's the fire department?
Not so good. Just as I was learning to hold me own at checkers, the boys start playing a new game, gin rummy.
Oh, I know that game. Maybe I... Come in.
Hello, Frank. I'm sure glad you're back. I just got a minute and I want to wish you all the luck in the world.
Well, that's awful nice of you. Well, you're the Collins kid.
Why, certainly.
Well, it's nice to see you, Roy.
Thanks a lot. I hope you knock 'em dead, Frank. I'll see you some more.
Yeah. Hey, can you tie that? He's growing like a weed.
It's a good thing his old man didn't catch him in here.
Say, what is this all about? I thought you and the Collinses were good friends.
No more. Thank heaven.
Oh, that Collins. He thinks he's law and order and judge and jury, and him only a night watchman. You ought to hear how he talks about you, Frank.
You mean to say you've been fighting about me?
Well, no, but when it ain't milk bottles, it's something else.
Don't worry about Collins. He bet a lot of money on the game that year, and now he's trying to get it all back without milk bottles.
Just like old times, Frank. A newspaper reporter to see you.
Oh, tell him to come in.
Come on in.
Oh.
Hi, McGuire. Welcome home to Flatbush.
Look, folks, you'll excuse us, won't you?
Oh.
Won't be long, I can guarantee you that.
Well, seems kind of quiet around here. What's the matter? The boys know you're getting in?
They were down at the station. I made my speech.
Yeah, I thought I could afford to pass that one. We're going to make some very clever trades. We're going to build up the team, and we're going to win for the old hometown. Was that it?
I didn't like the way you said that.
Okay, Squint. There's no use trying to tell a smart guy like this anything. That bird brain of his is all made up.
Writing baseball for this town has been my life, McGuire. I think the fans deserve a manager with moxie. Somebody that doesn't get that apple in their neck when the going gets tough.
That ain't what's eating you, Mitchell. You're the kind of a heel that can't stand being in a losing corner. When I blew that pennant, it couldn't have been an accident to you, no, because you needed a go to look better in copy. McGuire was yellow. He couldn't take it. You weren't satisfied until you ran me out of the majors. Now you're burned up because Mrs. Mack is white enough to give me another chance. And for your information, she's behind me the whole way. We're going to put this town back in the league.
Mrs. McAvoy?
Yeah.
Haven't you heard? She died 3 hours ago. Good luck, Butterfingers.
Hello, Sam. I just not got the news. When did it happen? How?
All of a sudden, heart attack. I tried to get in touch with you.
That's funny. Just a couple of days ago, talking, making plans.
Well, you've got nothing to worry about. There's your contract. It's the last thing she did.
What good's this?
It's legal.
Well, go ahead. Get it off your chest.
You're still the manager and a very good salary.
Oh, you're subtle, ain't you? I was working for something that breathed, not a piece of paper. Now, get this straight, Sam. I'm not stupid. I know what I've been tagged around here. The only one who wanted me was the old lady, but dead or alive, that's who my contract is with, you understand?
Okay, but we still need ball players. Now, what are we going to use instead of money?
What about the new owners?
Relatives. The majority of the stock goes to a niece, Catherine Baker.
What's she like?
Filthy rich.
But does she know anything about the game?
Since when do we play baseball on horseback? She's strictly social.
All right, forget it then. Let me do the worrying about her. Look, call a meeting of those relatives for tomorrow morning. We got to get the ball started rolling fast. And in the meantime, what about those scouts of ours? What have they been doing? Tell them to get out, get on the job. Dig me up a Ruth or a Garrett.
Is that all you want?
Well, you know what I mean, Sam.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Frank. So I wasn't on your side. Maybe I was all wrong. But Mac wanted you, and that's good enough for me. And from now on, I'm going to give you all the help I can. I promise you that.
Well, thanks, Sam. I'm liable to need it.
And you don't have to worry about getting hit with pop bottles.
Still Brooklyn, ain't it?
Yeah. But we're going to serve all the drinks this year in little paper cups.
Oh.
And that reminds me. Let's get a couple of drinks.
Now, the first thing we need is a couple of utility men, a couple of good pinch hitters.
What's that?
What's what?
A utility man.
Oh. Well, utility man is a guy.
What's a pinch hitter?
I see a pinch hitter is... Pinch hitter. Hey, maybe I can show you by an example. Now, look. Let's suppose that it's in the ninth inning. Brooklyn's at bat, and we need 1 run to win. We got a man on third. There's 2 outs. And up steps the pitcher to bat. Now, don't forget, Miss Baker, we need that 1 run to win. So what do?
I couldn't guess.
Well, we could hope for the best, couldn't we?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right, Miss Evans. We can hope for the best, but hoping ain't enough.
Why can't pitchers bat?
Well, you can't let the pitcher bat, because pitchers ordinarily can't bat. Well, you just have to take my word for it. Pitchers can't bat. Now, look. There's where your pinch hitter comes in, because hitting is his specialty. He's the kind of a guy that will walk right up that plate, knock out a hit, and drive in the run that wins the game for Brooklyn. Now, Miss Baker, wouldn't you like that?
In preference to what?
Excuse me, folks. Excuse me, please, Miss Baker.
Sure.
I'll see you later, Frank.
Yeah.
I'm going to showers.
Yeah.
What would a gentleman pinch hitter like that cost?
Oh, roughly $25,000.
25.
Oh, wait. What's $25,000 or even $100,000? As long as you keep the fans pouring into the ballpark. We'd all like to get some of that rust off our cash registers, wouldn't we?
Well, it seems to be all right with us.
Well, I fully appreciate the fact that baseball was my aunt's hobby, but, well, it might just as well have been a circus or a brewery. I really don't see how we could be expected to carry on, do you?
No, all right, now. Let's take it purely from the financial standpoint.
If you can find someone who's interested in buying the team, would you please let my attorney know?
Oh, well, now, don't you think that we could...
My goodness, I had an appointment and I'm hours late. Goodbye.
Mr. McGuire, how much do you think the team will sell for?
I'll be right back. Oh, Miss Baker. You probably never knew that baseball is really a big business. Wouldn't you be interested in making a lot of money?
Not particularly.
Well, where's your pride in Brooklyn? You were born here.
Shh. Not so loud, Mr. McGuire. I'm living in Manhattan.
You own horses, don't you?
Yes.
All right, then. You know the kick you get out of watching a horse wearing your own colors, come pounding down the stretch and finally getting up to win it just by a neck?
There's nothing in the world like it.
You think so? That's checkers compared with owning your own ball club. You haven't lived until you've been in the midst of a pennant fight. Look, it's the last couple of weeks of the season. The whole country's watching. Newspaper headlines, the lead's changing from day to day. St. Louis and Brooklyn come pounding down the stretch. Every single pitch meaning win or lose. Oh, it's a thrill you'll never forget.
Oh, that's wonderful. But, I'd be rooting for St. Louis.
What a pitcher. He hasn't even got a prayer on the ball.
Hey, Smith, that's enough, kid. O'Hara, get in there.
Ten to 2. For my dough, Clovertown would have done better.
Well, we just didn't get the breaks, that's all.
Don't make me laugh. We got 'em all. Or it would have been 20 to 2.
We didn't expect a picnic, did we?
Don't get sore, Frank.
Yeah.
But why don't we quit? Gee, I dreamed all my life of coming to the majors, but the job ain't worth seeing you get pushed around again. Can't you see we aren't going anywhere? Especially with that Baker dame. She ain't human, I tell you. She runs on electricity.
We'll get the money, all right. Don't worry about that.
Hey, you, stop! Stop! Come back here!
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Hey, Leo, leave him alone. He's all right.
Okay, if it's all right with you, but he might have been a Giant fan come in to bomb the joint for all I knew.
What's up, kid?
Well, I saw you get shellacked this afternoon. You know, Frank, you could use a pitcher like me.
What, in the big leagues? You must be pretty good.
Well, I am. A lot of people compare me to Christy Matheson and Dazzy Vance.
And you got a fastball, just like Walter Johnson.
Why, sure, how'd you know? You know, my old man went sour on baseball. Well, on account of what happened to you. And I've been playing on the QT with the semi-pro outfit. And look, I wish you'd come over to Prospect Park someday and watch me work out.
Yeah, sure, kid, sure.
Look, I've got a swell curve and a change of pace, and I can hit, and I can run, and I can...
The first
feel...
time I get a chance, I'll be right over.
Well, thanks, Frank.
Hey, Dazzy Vance hung his clothes in that locker.
He did, huh? Well, you better reserve it for me. And if you've got a ball handy, son, I'll be glad to autograph it for you.
Well, thanks a lot, pal. That's darn white of you.
How do you like that, Colin? Stealing 2 more bottles.
Why don't you get your milk in cartons? That ought to fix him.
Give that crook the satisfaction? I should say not. Say, isn't this your Sunday suit?
Yeah, I'm going stepping.
Oh, you are you? Well, after a hard day on the field, you shouldn't go gallivanting around at night.
Well, Mom, a man needs a little relaxation now and then.
And would that relaxation be a Brooklyn girl?
No, New York.
New York? Now, I don't like to see you courting them foreigners.
Oh, Mom, you're my only girl. Tonight is strictly business. Oh, Miss Baker in?
She is, and whom shall I say is calling?
Well, just tell her that Frank McGuire... Oh, there you are. How are you, beautiful?
Well, if it isn't the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. How are you?
Oh, swell. I just happened to be in the neighborhood. Thought I'd pop in.
Well, how neighborly of you. Tell me, what can I do for you outside of baseball?
Oh, lay off with you. I know when I'm licked. No, I thought as long as you're still owner of the team, that we ought to get better acquainted. Say, incidentally, that outfit is a 3-alarm fire. It's slick.
Well, thank you.
We should be leaving, Catherine. The Pegasus show starts at 9.
Yes, Walter, I'd like you to know Mr. McGuire. It's Mr. Rogers.
Are you?
Are you?
Well, we were just leaving.
What, to the Pegasus? That's swell. I'd like to go down and hoist a couple.
The reservations are only for 2.
Oh. Well, here. You can take along an extra chair. Come on. What's he doing?
Fixing Cape Suzette.
What's the matter? Haven't they got a kitchen in this joint?
Tony, viens tout de suite.
Is this French?
Yes.
All I know is a couple of choruses of Mademoiselle from Armentières. Make mine the same as yours.
Will you order, Walter?
Keep an eye on things, will you, Wally? We'll scout the orchestra for you. Come on.
Pardon?
Sorry.
I like your approach, Mr. McGuire. It's so indirect.
I don't care why you like it, just as long as you keep on liking it, beautiful.
That's just what I mean. So charmingly subtle.
Park Avenue's got time for subtlety, not the Brooklyn McGuires.
By the way, that accent of yours can't be real, or can it?
Oh, they taught me a different one at college, but can you imagine how far I'd get if I was to walk up that dugout and say, "Oh, Hatter, strike a decisive blow for dear old Flatbush. That's a dear fellow. Thank you."
Horrible. I much prefer you in character.
Would you like to order now, sir?
Yes. I'd like to order that baseball player out of here.
But he's with Miss Baker.
It's quite apparent. What do baseball players generally eat besides peanuts?
All depends, sir.
Wait a minute. The dance floor's over here.
Come on, let's take a look at the moon,
Oh, my, you are in a hurry.
Well, this place wouldn't get hot enough fire. Besides, it's crowded. Come on.
What's the matter? Is Walter cramped your style?
Look, just because his dad knew your dad, that's no sign we should suffer. Come on. Oh, sorry. You know, people shouldn't argue about little things. That's what starts all arguments. Just little things. First it's sports, and then politics, and then a man's nationality. It's bad, you know? Because people have to take each other as human beings, don't they?
Well, so long as they behave that way. But, Mr. McGuire, you're an awful liar. Why don't you tell the truth? You came to my house tonight straight as the crow flies.
Not that straight. That cab I took cost me exactly $4.60.
Ha, so you admit it. You're building up to something. I'm not sure what.
You know, it's a shame that such a pretty girl should have such a suspicious nature.
Pardon me, Miss Baker, your floor.
Oh.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Guess I had a lot of fun tonight. More fun than I've had in months.
Oh, I should think so. For someone who just popped in, you had a pretty big evening.
Well, how about you?
Oh, I had a lovely time. Thank you very much.
Say, why don't we do this again? Anytime. You name the night.
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Well, I've been warned about baseball managers. They take you out for just one reason. So you'll buy a lot of baseball players, and they all cost $25,000 apiece.
Now, did I mention baseball even once during the whole evening?
No, as a matter of fact, you didn't. You'd have been much smarter if you had. It's the one thing you tried to be subtle about.
Look, anytime I try... Sure the arm's all right, huh?
Swell. Feels like a million.
All right. And remember, don't pitch inside the McGrath again.
Okay.
Frank. Yeah, we just got a wire from Hawley. He's found a kid named Anderson, a left-handed pitcher. Win 19 and lose 2 last year and win 5 in a row so far this year.
Well, maybe we're beginning to get someplace. Tell him to meet the team in Chicago. We'll look him over. I got a job for you. Take these and send about $20 worth of flowers with each one.
I tell you, you're wasting your time.
Quiet.
They're all addressed to Miss Baker.
Yeah. Send one about every hour and charge it to the club.
To the club? That's not ethical, Frank. Romancing a girl on her own money.
No, not hers. Mrs. McAvoy's money.
Oh. Thanks for a lovely evening.
He was 10 feet past the plate before the ball came in.
I tell you, he's out. He's out.
If you want us to give the game to him, why don't you say so? We're just wasting a lot of time here.
Get back to the dugout, McGuire.
You know, I knew your brains had gone. I didn't know your eyesight had, too. You need a dog and a tin cup.
Get off the field, I told you. You heard the decision.
You, Robert, you ought to be umping games in Sing Sing.
You can't even keep the plate clean.
For the game. I'll get you for that, McGuire.
Fine piece of bum.
That bum's a disgrace to the Irish.
I ought to throw you out of the game.
How did you see that?
Hey, you.
Those stands,
you keep your filthy hands off of me.
Get back in the stand.
He was safe, and you know it, you Robert. Take your hands off of me, you big flat.
Put that guy's out. Sorry,
Now, if this continues, I'll have to clear the courtroom.
Now, you heard the charge. Are you guilty or not guilty, Mr. O'Doul?
I only did me duty. I'd have done the same thing if I'd seen a guy making a grab in a jewelry store in plain daylight.
Order in the court.
Your Honor, when an umpire comes into Brooklyn, he figures to take a certain amount of risk. In fact, he's got a prayer on his lips. But when I have to defend myself against hoodlums like this man, I'd have to have eyes in the back of my head.
Those are hoodlums.
Order in the court.
Where are your eyes, Shaughnessy? It's a cinch they ain't in front.
Mr. O'Doul?
He ought to be selling pencils, Judge.
Order in the court. Quiet. Mr. O'Doul? You have something to learn about a civilized society. Disagreements aren't settled with fists. And now, I'm going to give you some time in a very quiet place where you can think this over. A place where you'll be all alone. Like a jail cell.
Your Honor, please. Your Honor.
And who are you?
I'm Frank McGuire, manager of Brooklyn.
Oh, yes, Mr. McGuire.
This seems to be a matter that concerns the team. I'd like to say something.
Go right ahead.
Tell him, kid. Pour it on.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Quiet.
This ain't the bleachers. It's a court of law. One of your gang is going to jail. There's nothing funny about that. And you ought to go, O'Doul. You were guilty. You made a fool out of yourself. Shaughnessy, you were right. Dead right. But, Your Honor, this isn't just a simple case of assault. We've got to look further into this man's background. Now, who is O'Doul?
I drive a truck for the...
Yeah. Who is O'Doul? Where'd he come from? What made him do what he did? He's tired of hearing that his homeland is just a part of New York, a suburb of Manhattan. He feels like a man without a country, an underdog. He wants Brooklyn to have a place in the sun, to win at anything.
A minute.
He is seeking an identity of his own, and the way he expresses himself is through baseball. In other words, Your Honor, O'Doul is suffering from a very bad case of inferiority complex.
Ah, Frank.
And it goes even deeper than that, Your Honor. Can we punish a man for displaying a spirit that the whole country could use today? The spirit of patriotism. Mr. O'Doul isn't just a citizen of Brooklyn. He's a good American. He doesn't see in Shaughnessy here just a man with whom he's had a quarrel, no. He sees in him an enemy of the community, a rat.
Now, look, McGuire.
Oh, Shaughnessy, that was just a figure of speech. I don't blame you. You did your job. You did it well. But, Your Honor, as I was saying, can we punish a man who acts in a cause that means life or death to him? Don't forget, Judge, if Brooklyn were to be invaded by an enemy tomorrow, it's men like O'Doul who'd be the first in the barricades to defend it. Now, all I ask, in view of the circumstances, is a little leniency.
The court fines you $25. But I suspend 20.
Hey, O'Doul, go on, pay your fine. Okay, here. Now behave yourself, will you?
Thanks, Frank. Here you are, Judge.
Over there.
Oh, sure.
Shaughnessy, all's well that ends well. Put her there.
Nice work, Frank, but who is this fellow O'Doul?
I never saw the guy before in my life.
What?
You're quite a mouthpiece, McGuire. Why don't you use your head like that on a ball field?
Come on,
Frank.
How about a statement, McGuire?
Oh, I've said enough already. Hey,
Frank.
what are you doing here? This is enemy territory.
Oh, I just happened to be in the neighborhood and thought I'd pop in.
Well, if you're slumming in Brooklyn, you've got yourself a guide.
Oh, so?
Uh-huh.
Here you are, Frankie. Double scoop and extra sweet. The way he always liked it.
Is this where the great man spent his youth?
Yeah, when he had a dime or when Mr. Slumbum was crazy enough to put me on the cuff.
Say, tell me, Frankie, they say you're having trouble with the new owner. What seems to be the matter down there?
Oh, it's nothing. Say, how's business?
It was different when Mrs. McAvoy was alive. She was one of us. But what do you expect from a spoiled snip of a girl?
Say, your sodas are
I
terrific.
tell you, the world is going to the dogs. Baseball belongs to the people, and the Brooklyn team belongs to us. And now this New Yorker, this foreigner, he comes around. It ain't right, miss. It's a crying shame.
Hey, how is Mrs. Slumbum, Mrs. Slumbum?
You know what I like to do? I like to take her over my knee and give her a good peddling just to show her who is the boss. How's the soda, please?
Very clever, that cook's tour of Brooklyn. Mr. whatever you call him.
Slumbum?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're a couple of fans, that's all. We understand each other.
And O'Doul?
Let's sit down, O'Doul? There are millions like him all over the country.
Well, I wouldn't have believed it.
No, of course not. The windows of that limousine of yours are pretty small. You know what you remind me of?
Uh-oh. Here it comes. A tired story about a society girl.
Strike one. Oh, well. Why talk about baseball,
Oh, I think I'd like to.
Why?
Well, it's practically your whole life, and besides, there isn't much else to talk about, is there?
Oh? Why talk at all? Seems kind of silly to talk, doesn't it?
Very silly. As a matter of fact, that's the most interesting conversation I've had in a long time, but, are you sure that kiss didn't belong to somebody else?
Meaning what?
Oh, for instance, to the owner of the Brooklyn baseball team.
Oh, strike two.
At this point, you could use a pinch hitter.
No. No, you're wrong, Kate. I think about you a great deal, I really do. Even today at the game, I saw a girl in the grandstand there, right back of the dugout. Beautiful girl. I could have sworn it was you.
It was.
Strike three. Batter's out. That on our team.
Yeah, but can he hit?
Can he hit? Look, when that guy smacks a ball, the outfielder doesn't say, I've got it. He says, I'll go get it. See what I mean?
Yeah, I'm commencing to see what you mean.
I'm sending a wire tonight.
Not thanks for a lovely evening again. I couldn't hold still for that, you know.
That's the way to hit, Red.
Hiya, boss.
Oh, hello, Roy. Nice to see you.
Thanks.
Keeping bad company, huh? What's doing?
This is the boy I was telling you about.
Tell me what about?
This is the boy that Hawley found.
Yeah, but what is this, a gag?
It's no gag. It's the left-handed pitcher he mentioned in his wire.
I know this. You said his name was Anderson.
I had to use another name, Frank, on account of my old man. He'd have a hemorrhage if he knew I was playing ball. He thinks I'm a traveling salesman selling toothpaste.
Well, why didn't you let me in on this?
Look, I told you one day in the clubhouse, and you wouldn't believe me.
Oh, well, Well, if Hawley scouted you all right, I'll have to take a chance. Go on, get in the uniform, and I'll look you over.
Thanks.
Hey, but don't throw away those toothpaste samples. You're liable to need them.
You'll find out.
Atta boy.
Pegasus at 10 o'clock tonight, all right?
All right, 10 o'clock.
This is great, folks. I appreciate it. Remember, we haven't won that pennant yet. But don't think we're not gonna win it.
Hey, Mom. Hello, Dad.
Hello, son.
Say, what's this all about? I can hardly get into the house.
Oh, the crazy people. Baseball bugs. All because McGuire wins a few games. Did you have a nice trip, lad? Did you sell a lot of toothpaste?
Ah, sure, but I'll be staying home for a while now.
Oh, that's fine. That's a good idea. You know, maybe if you go out to the ballpark and get some sunshine, it'll do you a lot of good.
Ballpark? You haven't changed your mind about baseball, have you, Dad?
Why shouldn't I when my son is the finest pitcher on the team?
Oh, sit down, boys. Sit down. Take a load off your feet. Well, what's on your mind, fellas?
It's kind of tough to get around to it, Frank, but...
Go on, you bum. Tell him.
Me and the fellas read in the papers that you got fined $50 in Pittsburgh for opening your trap about a close one at the plate.
Yeah.
After very careful consideration, we come to the conclusion that ump was laying it on to you. Ain't that right? Pipe down, you mugs. So, me and the rest of the gang sort of passed the hat and raised 50 slugs. And here's the dough.
Oh, well, thanks, fellas. You shouldn't have done that.
What's $50?
Well, the nickels and dimes, it feels like $1 million.
If you're fighting for us, why should you take the rap?
Well, if you feel that way about it... Here, Mom, we can start a fund for blind umpires, huh?
That's a good idea. Another thing, Frank. Would it be okay for me to wear a baseball cap at the games? You see, we're getting up a cheering section, and I'm the leader.
How about it, Sam? You think the budget will stand an extra cap?
Well, for a head like that, I should think so.
Come on, guys. Let's give them number 7. All together, go. Boston, Billy, St. Louis Red, knock 'em, sock 'em, murder 'em dead. Give me X, 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 give me X, X. What's cooking?
That's fine, boys. Say, Mom, do you think we can rustle up a bottle of beer for the boys? Oh, you got anything to eat back there?
Sure, got a great big ham.
Hey, say bum for me, will you? Hey, Slavinsky, go on. She can dig you up a piece of pie. Don't let that stop you.
Get out there, Irving. It's getting late, Frank. I made a date with some magazines. They want pictures of you.
Okay.
And don't forget, tonight you're speaking at a Boosters Club dinner.
Hey, wait a second. Tonight,
Now, you don't have to stay all night. Just tell them a couple of your stale gags. That's all they want.
Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, Miss Baker.
You're alone?
No. Table for two, please. Oh, and Paul, preferably in a quiet corner. Good.
And so I give you our guest of honor, the man who is leading Brooklyn out of the wilderness, the 20th century Moses, Frank McGuire.
That's not bad, Moses McGuire. Matter of fact, that's the best definition of Brooklyn I ever heard. It calls to mind an incident that occurred to the team when we were playing in Pittsburgh. It was about in the fourth inning, and we were a little behind, about 8 or 9 runs, I forget what.
Mademoiselle Becker, can I get your order now?
No, thanks, Jacques. Just another cup of coffee.
Très bien, mademoiselle.
I want to take this opportunity to thank all the people who have been so loyal to the team. You gentlemen here, and the owners of the club. In particular, Miss Baker, who's made it possible... Hey. Say, if you boys will excuse me now for just a... Look, I want Sam to tell you that story. Sam, tell him that story. You know, it'll kill you. And excuse me, just for now. Come on, Sam, tell us the story.
Hello, Catherine.
Good evening.
Alone?
Yes, completely.
Won't you join our party?
No, thanks, Walter.
I'd love to have you.
Well, that's very nice, but as a matter of fact, I was just leaving. Perhaps another time. Good night.
Are you sure? Look, I'm talking about Miss Catherine Baker. I know she's there.
I'm very sorry, but Miss Baker left a few minutes ago.
Listen, you.
Who? Me? Oh, what language. Good evening.
Hey, why aren't you in bed? You're pitching tomorrow.
I can't sleep. Did you read Mitchell's column tonight?
Yeah, so what?
Well, maybe the guy's right. Maybe I shouldn't pitch the first game tomorrow.
Where do you play, in the field or in Mitchell's column?
I wasn't scared when I joined the club, but now every play and every pitch means win or lose.
All right, then don't bother to get in the uniform.
Oh, I don't want you to
All right,
think
then
that.
settle down, will you? Look, kid, you're not the only one that's got the jitters. I got them, too. The whole team's got them. Yet they're not asking me to put them to bed. But Tom throws me a banquet tonight like the pennant's in the bag. Well, it isn't. The real pressure's just beginning. We gotta bear down harder, that's all. Now go on, get to bed. One pitch tomorrow, you'll forget the whole thing.
I hope you're right.
I know I'm right. Go on. Good night.
Good night, Frank.
Squirt, Miss McGuire? What am I saying? Hey, Frank, get your duds on and make sure you part your hair right.
Now, wait a second. Take it easy. The team's all right, isn't it?
It won't make any difference unless you step on it. Sam just told it to one of the boys.
Right, told what?
They just got a big offer for the team.
They did?
Yeah, Aunt Esther, Cousin Catherine, and the whole bunch of them are down there now talking it over. And the deal don't include you as manager or me as bat boy. You better step on it, Frank. Miss Baker won't sell if you ask her pretty like not to.
No, that racket's all washed up, Squint.
After all those lovely evenings, what happened?
Plenty. Well, we'd better get down there. Else we'll have to reserve a couple of Pullmans for Clovertown.
Mr. Sloan, what would you suggest?
Well, it's a good offer, and it's your property, but it seems to me that you folks should make the decision.
Well, in my opinion, Such offers as this don't come every day, and I think that...
Oh, hello, Kate. Well, go ahead. Don't pay any attention to me.
Well, as I was saying, it may be a long time before we get such a splendid offer again, and I certainly feel that we should accept it.
We couldn't be in a better position than we are right now. What if we lose this series?
I should think, Catherine, you'd be delighted. You've often said that...
Aunt May, I've...
Now, look, do you mind if I say something?
Just a moment, Mr. McGuire. I've changed my mind. I think to sell now would be a great mistake. People have camped overnight outside the baseball park just to see today's game. World Series reservations are pouring in. Why, no less an authority than Mr. McGuire himself told me that Brooklyn is the best baseball town in America. The ride at the station yesterday should convince anyone he's right. I also feel that a change in management at this time might hurt the team's chances of winning. That wouldn't be fair to the people of Brooklyn. Mr. Sloan, refuse the offer.
I'll be glad to, Miss Baker.
Okay.
Yes?
See, that was swell of you to back me up that way in there.
I thought so, too, looking at it from strictly a business angle.
Yeah. Yeah, it was smart. Say, I'm awfully sorry about last night. You know, I tried to get in touch with you. They asked me to make a speech.
Must have been a honey.
Well, I had a million things on my mind, honest.
Oh, it's perfectly all right. I understand.
Look, how about tonight? You think we can get together?
Oh, I'm going to be awfully busy tonight.
Well, what about tomorrow night, then?
I'm going to be awfully busy tomorrow night, too.
Oh, I get it.
I'm so glad you do.
Yeah, that's what I said. I just got through telling you. Anderson's going to pitch.
McGuire didn't think much of your advice, Mitch.
Anderson's pitching.
So I see.
Hey, Roy.
How do you feel, all right?
Yeah, I guess I'm all right.
Sure, I knew you would be. Wait till you get out in the mounds. You'll murder those guys. Go on, go to work.
Shut up or keep quiet.
wrong, kid?
You better take me out, Frank. Nothing feels right. I just haven't got it today.
Now just forget about that crowd and concentrate on the batters. You've slaughtered the Sam gang before. You can do it again.
Maybe tomorrow, the next day, but they're just not breaking for me today.
You're going to stay here and pitch. Look, kid, you let them get the best of you once, and you're never going to be any good again. I ought to know. I've gone through it. You've got the stuff. You know that. Go on, burn that ball in them. Go on, kid.
Come on, Roy. You can do it. Let's go.
Settle down.
I just can't get the curves to break.
Okay,
that's
Roy.
all.
That's enough. Look out for a squeeze plate.
Well, you called a turn, Mitch.
And get this. I'm not trying to alibi myself. I'm not trying to put all the blame on you either. All right, I pitched Anderson. Anderson had an off day. He's entitled to it, isn't he? Hey, Hardy. That was a particularly brilliant piece of brain work you pulled out there. What were you trying to do, play ring around the rosy?
What do you expect me to do? He called for the ball and then changed his mind.
I called for the ball. What are you trying to do, pass the ball?
No, I'm not trying to pass the buck.
Go take a punt. Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold it. Break it up. Now just forget about it or else we'll all be in a sanitarium. We got a bad one out of our system. That's all right. Maybe it did us good. Tomorrow's another day. We'll go out there and beat their brains out. Don't forget they're just as jittery as we are. Everybody turn in early.
Hello, McGuire. What are you trying to do, wreck the team?
Just lay off me, will you, Mitchell?
I told you what I thought of Anderson in my column.
I'm telling you, lay off.
I didn't know you were so swell-headed you wouldn't take a little friendly advice.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That little advice made Anderson feel fine. He's just an inexperienced kid, and you gave him all the confidence he needed.
You were a great help.
Hey, Mom.
Yes?
Breakfast ready?
Uh-huh.
Hi, this morning, beautiful. Where's the paper?
Well, you know it didn't come this morning. I'll have to get after that delivery boy.
It couldn't have been that bad.
Frankie, what happened yesterday?
Well, it was my fault. I made a guess on Roy and I guessed wrong, that's all. It's a chance that every manager's got to take.
Are you sure there wasn't any trouble?
About what? Come on, say what you mean. We don't have to double-talk each other.
Well, I heard them talking in the market about the old days, and I didn't like it.
You don't believe that stuff, do you?
All I want's to hear you say it isn't true.
All right. It isn't true. Now, is there anything else?
Yes. I'll get your eggs.
Yeah? Well, why didn't he pull Anderson before it was too late?
Oh, so when the game is over, you are smart, huh?
Ah, go on. Nobody could be that dumb.
You couldn't, huh? See you later, Pop.
You was too loud this time. Did you bet on Brooklyn?
Yes, I lost $20 on that game.
What are you squawking about? I lost 200, and I can't afford it.
Going to the ball game, Bud?
Yeah.
Wish I could go. Ought to be a knockout.
What do you think will win?
Well, I got $2 on Brooklyn. It'll be a pushover if McGuire don't fold.
Hey, Hardy, what's the idea?
Ball took a bad hop. I couldn't help it.
Since when you been tucking balls like that in your back pocket all season? And you, Scott, what are you doing, playing marbles? You guys are playing like a bunch of bat boys. Now, come on. Let's get some runs out there. Hey, O'Hara. You've had your share of strikeouts for the day. Do you mind flying out this time?
Anything to please you, Skipper.
Take it easy, Frank. Cool off.
On what? 2 errors in 1 inning?
That ain't what's the matter. I heard about Mitchell's column, too.
That's got nothing to do with it.
We want to win the game, don't we? Well, flying off the handle ain't gonna help.
Squint, you're old enough to mind your own business. Now get back in the dugout. You heard what I told you.
Okay.
There you are, O'Hara.
Red?
Sure, I'll sign it. We won't get any place the way we're going.
You said it. All right, who's next?
I am. Give me that petition.
Whitey, what about you?
I'm already on it.
Scott, what do you say?
With pleasure. Let me have it after you, Scott.
That's the spirit.
Wait a minute, boys. McGuire's got plenty of headaches.
Headaches. What about us?
What are we supposed to do, nursing?
Roy, what do you say? Gonna sign?
Well, look, fellas, we only got a few more games.
You ain't gonna sign it, are you, Roy? Don't listen to them. They're crazy. You're all just a big bunch of dopes.
Oh, shut up, you little squirt.
Okay, so I'm a squirt. But don't sign it, Roy, please. Make them tear it up.
Tear what up? Oh. Bunch of crybabies, huh? Well, at that you haven't done so bad with a stinking manager. From the cellar to knocking at the top in 2.5 months. And another exhibition tomorrow like the one you gave today, and you won't be wearing the same uniforms next year, I'll guarantee that.
Tell you, Sam, we can't hold still for it. You've got to get rid of McGuire.
Now, wait a minute, will you? Do you mind if I read this petition?
Everybody on there feels the same way we do. If you don't get rid of him, you're going to lose time.
All right, all right.
Can I say something, Sam?
Quiet, you. I admit you fellas got a legitimate squawk. Did I say you haven't?
But, Sam, let me just tell you...
Will you keep quiet? But you can't just rush into this thing without using a little judgment. Now, I admit, McGuire...
Please, Sam, this is
If you don't shut up, I'll throw you out of here.
Sam, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, how about some action?
Now, leave it to me, fellas. I'm going to do all I can for you. I'm going to take it up with the owners.
That sounds fair enough. What do you think, fellas?
Okay.
All right.
Now, what were you going to say that was so important?
All I wanted to tell you was McGuire just quit.
What?
They know he's responsible for bringing them to the top. But after all, Miss Baker, baseball is their bread and butter. And if they can't play their best, you can't blame them.
But why should a man who wants to win as much as he does do anything to jeopardize his chances?
Did you read Danny Mitchell's column in the paper this morning?
Oh, you're not going to blame a stupid little bit of gossip.
No, ma'am, I blame myself.
Yourself?
Well, you're surprised, but I've known it for some time.
I don't understand.
Now, you know what happened years ago, how McGuire's boner made baseball history.
Oh, vaguely.
Well, you weren't interested in baseball then, Miss Baker, or you'd have heard more. Why, people all over the country talked about nothing else for months. You don't realize it, but Frank was a marked man. Why, the last day of the season, they booed him. When all he needed was a pat on the back, he was getting raspberries from the stands and fish eyes from his friends. So I went to him, meaning well, of course. I told him I thought he ought to leave the team for his own good, that he'd never live it down. But I didn't know what I was doing to him. Here was a boy born in the streets of Brooklyn who becomes the greatest player on his ball club. Why, an ordinary man would have quit baseball and gone into another business.
Wouldn't be Frank McGuire without the uniform.
Mrs. McAvoy knew that. But I was too dumb.
Hello, McGuire.
Oh, hello, Kate.
Well, I must say I've seen more cheerful places.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, let's get out of here. Any place you want.
This place is as good as any for talking baseball.
You know, you never did let me explain about what happened that night.
Oh, don't bother to explain. I rather enjoyed it. It was a wonderful experience, throwing myself at someone and not being caught. You should try it sometime. Frank, the trustees want you to reconsider your resignation.
I'm not interested in managing a bunch that can't take it.
The team had a complaint and they did something about it. They didn't just walk out.
What did they have to complain about? I've been walking on my hands and knees for 7 years.
So, then you came back imagining yourself a martyr. That's what your trouble is. You thought baseball owed you something. Why, after all, it's no more than fair that Frank McGuire should be made a great hero.
That's not true.
You made a mistake trying to help Anderson. And you became panicky at the thought of losing. You began to pick on the players, looking for anything as an alibi.
That's not true either.
Oh, yes, it is. The team and your friends trusted you, and you knew it. What difference did it make what the people on the street corners had to say?
Well, what do you want me to do? You expect me to go back into that locker room?
It won't be easy.
Oh, and stand the booing from those crowds?
I admit it won't be another Grand Central Station riot.
Oh, no. No, thanks.
I've called you lots of things in the past few weeks. Practically everything in the dictionary except quit it. Oh, it isn't baseball. That doesn't matter very much. Something I thought I saw inside of you. Something about you yourself, but if you'd quit now, you'd quit at anything.
I just heard a nasty rumor, boys. I understand Brooklyn hasn't got a manager.
Yeah, well, that's what we heard.
Well, that's liable to be a break for me, Scott. You see, I happen to be a manager without a team. I thought maybe we could get together. Incidentally, I've had experience managing a Brooklyn team. It might help. I found out that a team looks pretty good when things are going their way. Makes my job a cinch. But when the going is tough, there's only one of two things you can do. You can duck under the grandstand, or you can stay in there and scrap. Of course, that includes the manager as well as the men on the field. Well, there's another reason I'd like the job, Scott. If we win the pennant, maybe you'll have enough dough to pay me that $18 you owe me. You see, this hasn't been just a locker room brawl, boys. Now, it means much more than that. We've been wearing Brooklyn uniforms. There ain't a better, more loyal baseball town in the whole country. Why, they handed us this whole island on a silver platter when we were at the top of the heap, and our answer would... my answer was to toss the pennant right out the window. Those fans out there yelling their lungs out day after day deserve a heads-up fighting ball club. The best we got, win or lose. And I think that together we can give it to them. Well, how do you feel? Hey, now, wait a minute. Maybe I didn't say it right. I'm not asking you guys to bury the hatchet with me. If anybody's got a grudge, all right. We can settle that when the season's over. But I made a promise to old lady McAvoy. I told her that we'd get a pennant for Brooklyn. And half that obligation is yours. I still think we get the winning combination right here in this room. Now, once more, what do you think about it?
Who's pitching, Frank?
You're catching, Scott. And O'Hara, you're pitching. Now let's get out there and beat the... Well, let's win the ball game. Go on, get out and warm up.
All right, gang.
Save that for the game. Go on, boys.
Come back here, you scamp.
Bring back those milk bottles.
So,
You've been blaming us, Mrs. McGuire. Well, now I hope you're satisfied.
the kid might have swiped him today, but I don't know about all those other days.
I'm ashamed of you, Mom. Own up. You've been wrong.
Oh, well.
This wouldn't be going to the game now, would you?
We would, Mr. Collins. And there's a taxi waiting for us. But from now on, no more squabbling over trifles. We'll let bygones be bygones.
McGuire, we're pals.
Glad to see you friends again, ain't it? Well,
Good afternoon, baseball fans. This is Sam Nelson of Brooklyn, bringing you a play-by-play account of this crucial game today between St. Louis and Brooklyn. If those boys are going to upset the preseason dope and cop the pennant, they need this game today very badly. 2 losses in a row have left them a half game behind. There's McGuire now, standing out in front of the dugout. He seems to be looking up in the stands for somebody.
Why don't you forget that, Dame? We got a ball game to worry about.
Repeating the batteries now for today's game. For St. Louis, it's Ripley pitching and Haley catching. For Brooklyn, O'Hara is on the mound and Scott is catching.
Ready, McGuire?
Shaughnessy, as a friend, do you mind stalling the game for a while?
Sure, what are you talking about? We're over time now. Get your club out on that field.
She'll be here any minute.
She'll be here. Are you stalling this game because... Have you gone completely bats, McGuire?
Look, keep cool, will you? You get all excited. Gosh, you get dandruff all over that pretty blue suit.
You heard what I said. Get your club out on that field.
Hey, Kate, come here. Where the blazes you been? I thought you weren't going to show up at all.
Ben hasn't started yet. Besides, I usually keep my appointments.
Oh, is that so? All right, you're going to meet me at the Pegasus at 8 sharp.
There's a rule against talking to people in boxes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Look, meet me down there at the gate. Come on, I'm not allowed to talk to you while you're in the stands before the game. Here we are.
And there's a rule against walking people on the field. You're building yourself up to a $50 fine.
Okay, there. Now she's not in the field. She's not in the stand. She's in the dugout. Are you satisfied? Are you going to meet me at the Pegasus?
No, thanks. I've been stood up there before.
McGuire, do you realize you're holding up 35,000 people?
I'm not holding them up. She is. What about it?
In a couple of minutes, there'll be no game.
Shaughnessy never bluffs, honey. Come on. What do you say?
All right, 8 o'clock.
Okay, sweetheart. Dust off the plate. Brooklyn's ready. Come on, boys. Hit the deck.
A fastball right through the middle of the plate about letter high.
Right.
It's still the first inning. No score yet. And St. Louis scores. It was a sizzling line drive out into right center field. A 2-bagger that drove Roberts across the plate with the first run of the ball game. And the score is St. Louis 1, Brooklyn nothing.
still 1-0 in this last half of the 8th inning. Brooklyn has 2 men on. A hit here would tie up the old ball game. Reed is up now. The count is 2-2. And here's the windup. A screaming drive into right field. It rattled the billboards. And 2 runs crossed the plate for Brooklyn. This game isn't St. Louis property yet. This crowd is going crazy. O'Hara looks worried out there. He's pitched a beautiful game and a tough one. The count is 3-0 on Stevenson. St. Louis half of the 9th. Ball 4. Stevenson had to fall flat to get out of the way of that one. O'Hara must be tiring. And O'Hara holding. Parker can hit. He's a tough man in the clutch. 2 men are on, 2 men are down. Parker's done it before. Here's the pitch. And there she blows! And Parker is safe. His infield single has filled up the bases. O'Hara seems to be losing his stuff. What's McGuire going to do now?
Now I can understand why Brooklyn managers get gray hair.
You know, I've got a hunch.
Well, then follow it.
I'm warning you, in 5 minutes I'll be the biggest hero in town or the biggest heel. What do you think about it?
Either way, it's the same to me.
Okay.
Hey, O'Hara! O'Hara!
Hey! This crowd is tense. They're on their feet. All eyes are on the bullpen. And here he comes. No, but it is Anderson. Anderson, the rookie who was batted out of the box just 3 days ago.
Roy, look, this baseball is just a kid's game. All you got to do is strike them out, see? You get it?
I got you.
Okay.
It's Anderson, all right, and the crowd doesn't like it.
What are you applauding for? Why, he stinks.
Oh, he does, doesn't he? Yeah. Not for you, you...
Anderson's on the mound now, starting his warm-up. And this kid had better be right today. The bankrolls and the hopes of thousands of Brooklyn fans are on this kid. Stands are quiet now, tense, waiting. We haven't seen a moment like this since Grover Cleveland Alexander faced push-em-up Tony Lazzari in the World Series of 1926. Anderson is ready now. Haley is stepping into the batter's box. And if anybody can break up this ball game, he sure can. Right, stay right, 1. A fastball right across the shoulder.
Howdy, old boy, nice. Nice going, kid, that's it.
It was a beautiful curveball that broke about 3 feet. Anderson hasn't shown more stuff all season.
Ooh, I still think he stinks.
Hold your breath, folks. If this is a strike, the old ball game is over. Ball 1. Ball 2.
Level off, Roy. Make him hit.
Ball 2. That one seemed to get away from him. Ball 3. Anderson was wide with that one, too. And fans, the next pitch will decide the pennant. If you've ever seen a crowd tense, right on edge, you should see them here now. This next pitch will decide the ball game. If it's a strike, it's Brooklyn. If it's a ball, it's St. Louis. So hold on to your hats.
What's it in there, Roy?
Around the same time Lloyd Nolan played the manager in our film, he was also starring in a whole series of B-budget crime dramas for 20th Century Fox, playing a private eye named Michael Shane. But Nolan would soon be up to playing major roles in more important films such as Guadalcanal Diary, Tree Grows in Brooklyn, House on 92nd Street, and The Street with No Name. He kept working on into the 1980s, his final big screen appearance being in Woody Allen's 1986 comedy Hannah and Her Sisters. He died at the age of 83, 1 year before that film was released. Now, Carol Landis, who played Catherine Baker, had a much shorter life. 6 years and 12 films after the one we just showed, she died from her own hand at the age of 29, despondent over a broken affair with actor Rex Harrison. Up next, we're going to take to the baseball field again, this time with John Cusack and D.B. Sweeney as members of a team that